I'm Dan Janelle, and it's great to be with you guys today, and congratulations on your success with your businesses, and I want to help you be more and more successful. And we can do that in a number of ways. I've been in the PR business for, about 20 years now, and before that I was a newspaper reporter and business newspaper editor, won a bunch of awards, and all that good stuff. I've written 13 books about marketing on the Internet. I wrote the first book about marketing on the Internet way back in 1993, and that led to a tremendous speaking career. I spoke everywhere from Beijing to Budapest, going around the world teaching people how to do Internet marketing, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've met a lot of great people and helped a lot of great people and companies along the way, consulted with a lot of companies like IBM. I've taught at Berkeley and Stanford. I taught their first classes on Internet marketing and Internet branding. And, life has been really, really good. I'm talking to you today from my condo in San Diego, overlooking the ocean. It's a little overcast today, but that's okay because my other home is in Minnesota, where I have a house overlooking a lake, and that lake is frozen right now. So we go back and forth, and life is good. So what do? We help a lot of our clients in a number of publicity ways, including press releases. And for those of you who wonder what press release is, that might be a good place to start. Let's talk about the benefits of what a press release is, because a press release is just a tool. A tool is a hammer, it's a screwdriver, whatever. No one buys a screwdriver for a screwdriver. They buy a screwdriver because they want to make something, want to do something. So why would people want a press release? About 4 reasons. Number one, they want to increase their visibility. They want to increase their brand. They want to get the word out. They want to tell the world what wonderful new products and services they have. They want to tell the world that their products are on sale or their products are doing something better than their competitors are doing. And press releases are a great way for doing that. Now, there are 3 main audiences for press releases. This is surprising because you see the word press release and you think it's for the press, it's for the media. You think that you want the media to write about your company. And of course, who wouldn't? But frankly, that's pretty hard. And a lot of my clients, they do get original articles written about them, especially some of my clients that have products. There are the people who have products and there are people who have thoughts and ideas. So one of my clients is a drone manufacturer in Minneapolis, and they specialize in the agriculture market. So they, in fact, they're running a press release tomorrow about a new device they have, and the farm publications write about them like crazy. It's really, really fun. Another one of my clients is Lucy Pet Products. They make pet food, and they were in the Rose Bowl the other day, which was a lot of fun, too. So they announced that, so they got some publicity for that, and that will help them with their distribution and pick up more stores to carry their products. Another one of my clients is Hobie Cat. You might have heard about them as well. When they have a new canoe or a sailboat or Hobie Cat kind of thing, all these boating publications write about them. So that's always a lot of fun. So the media is definitely one outlet that will write about your companies or your clients' companies if they have a good story to tell. And if you have small local companies, and that's great because small local newspapers and television stations and radio stations like to give publicity to local companies. That's perfectly cool. There's another market as well, and that is the search engine optimization market, because people are looking for companies like yours or your clients. I'm going to use these terms interchangeably so I don't sound boring and repetitious. But, basically, your prospects are looking for someone like you who's doing something exactly what you're doing, but they don't know that you exist. So they're not searching for you by name. And in other words, looking for a company that does kickboxing classes in northern New Jersey, and they type that in, and they actually find the names of one of my other clients, CKO Kickboxing, their national franchise. They do a lot of press releases with me as well. I'm not trying to brag here. I just want to give you some ideas of the kinds of companies that do press releases so you can put some clothes on the skeleton, so to speak, and realize that press releases can help a wide variety of companies. So if I name drop, it's really to help you get some more ideas and generate ideas for the kinds of ways your clients can use press releases. Because you might say, oh, they would never use a press release. And you say, oh, Dan has a client that does exactly that. And they're doing great. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so if someone is looking for someone exactly like you, but they don't know that you exist, they're going to go to Google and they're typing certain keywords. They're looking for an accountant in Eastern Kentucky who specializes in small business retailers with 6 to 10 employees. And if you have those words in your press release, there's a very, very good chance reporters will find that, or your prospects will find that. Now, here's the important thing. Even if reporters don't write about your client from that press release is going to be indexed on Google, because every press release we send out is guaranteed to appear on more than 100 media websites. These include business journals, trade publications, daily newspapers, television stations that have websites, and then Google will index or sort or catalog each of those press releases. So that's how you can find out that CPA who specializes in all those little vertical markets in Eastern Kentucky, or anything else. Florists in Ventura County, California, and on and on and on. Because Google will index those press releases so people can find them. Now, there's another way that people use Google that press releases can also help. Let's say they do want to, you do have a client in Eastern Kentucky who is that CPA, and people want to check him out because, you go to his website and he says he's great. Well, of course, we all say we're great. We have testimonials on our website that say we're great, but they're looking for outside authorities to say he's really great too. And that's why when they type in that company name or that CPA's name, and they see the press release that was printed in a big city newspaper or on Yahoo or some other very credible media website, they're going to say, hey, that CPA, that Larry guy, he really must be something, because his press release is being written up in all these places. So they get the branding from all of those other media outlets that are reprinting those press releases. So those are some ways that press releases can help the active searcher looking on Google, looking for someone like your clients. Now, there is a fourth way, and that is that your client can literally print out the press release that appears on marketplace.com or the bostonbusinessjournal.com or yahoo.com, and then use that on their website or in their sales kit or their marketing materials to say, as seen on. And you see this a lot on the internet, especially on LinkedIn. A lot of thought leaders use press releases to promote their books, and those press releases are printed on numerous websites, and then people reconfigure their picture logo to say, as seen on, and they'll have, ABC, NBC, and CBS. Though, if you've ever seen any of those, they all started from press releases. So those are some of the benefits of press releases. When people see their names in on the media websites, or you see those logos appearing on your clients' websites or in your marketing materials, it gives your clients more credibility. They're getting the branding credibility from those media websites. And it's obviously very inexpensive. I'm not going to talk about pricing here. You can go to the websites to see pricing. I just want to give you an idea of the fact that it is really inexpensive compared to, say, advertising or television advertising or direct mail. It's really a fraction of the cost of any of those other kinds of marketing. So you really do get a very, very good return on your investment. And I want to hammer this point home. This is guaranteed publicity. Now, I can't guarantee that reporters are going to write about your clients, but I can guarantee that at least 100 media websites that are clearly recognizable and identifiable, clearly ones that your clients are going to say, hey, it's really great. I got into this newspaper or this television station. And they're going to say, this is cool. And as a result of that, we can guarantee that they will be on at least 100 media websites, and Google will index those media websites, and that will lead to all that search engine optimization and being found on Google. So that's an overview of the benefits of press releases. I'm going to turn it back to you guys because you probably have additional questions, and it's more fun that way. So feel free to ask me anything.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. You going over, giving yourself a little bit of background on yourself, and then going over press releases. I don't know a lot about press releases, but it just makes sense. I know a lot. We have a lot of clients that we work with, and some of them are, small, medium size. And like Dan said, he's not going to go into pricing too much. And I'll go ahead and put the pricing up on the screen just in a minute, because we do have a pretty tremendous offer with Dan. He was very kind in putting together a very nice deal for all of us and for our members. But a lot of those small and medium-sized business owners, and large alike, but because we work with a lot of more of that SMB market, it is very, very important that they get a release out there, that they get information on their company or their product or their service, so that they can be more competitive and gain new clients and get new leads out of it. So any questions on what Dan has just gone over so far?
I think it's important also to talk about the process of press releases as we wait for the questions to come in, because you're probably saying, I've never read a press release, I've never written a press release, I don't know what they look like, where do I get started? Well, that's the service that I'm offering to Agora and its members, because you don't have to know how to do any of that. I do all of that for you. In fact, when you become part of the system here and you order, I will interview you and find out, or your clients, and we'll find out what's new, what's interesting, what's different, and we'll write a press release that will be printed on more than 100 media websites. And you might be saying, well, what's news? Okay, well, you don't have to declare war on North Korea to create news. That's not the kind of news we're looking for. Many different things constitute news in a small business environment, especially with local news. So they could be hiring a new person, a new president, a new financial officer. They could be introducing a new product or a new product line. They might be having a grand opening of a new store. Let's say you have a tax accountant. There are all sorts of questions that tax accountants and financial planners have now with the new tax laws and such like that. So they can play off of what's going on in the news. If they have an opinion about what's going on in the news. You might have realtors who now have opinions about what's coming to home prices now because of all these new tax laws and stuff. So they can have opinions about what the news is. And that would make for a good press release as well. And frankly, it would position some of those professionals as authorities. So if you have lawyers, realtors, CPAs, any of those professionals, that would be great. If you have doctors or healthcare professionals, there are all sorts of ways for them to comment on breaking news and interesting news highlights of the day as well. And that's considered news too. So news doesn't have to be something fancy and exciting. News can be things that are interesting and helpful to people who read the newspaper or any online service. So we're really performing a public service and a benefit by having your experts or your clients share their ideas and their thoughts about what's going on in the world. And frankly, these are probably the same questions that their clients are asking them as well. And again, it could be something in terms of real estate or investing or taxes, which are obviously financial news. It could be things like home decorating tips and ideas for staging your house for sale and such like that. I mean, anytime you look at a newspaper magazine, there are articles in there. They're just plain interesting. They're about relationships. They're about home care. They're about fixing up your car or what new cars are hot these days or any kind of trends. As long as your clients comment on those, that would be a good idea for a press release. And frankly, it's not your job to figure out what that angle is. That's my job. So I'm happy to talk to your clients and brainstorm with them and see what's new, interesting, different with them, and then write the press release with them and for them. And this is being done in conjunction. I'll do all the heavy lifting, of course, and they have final approval. And I think you're going to find that's very, very important for your clients because it's their name, it's their trust, it's their credibility. They want to make sure they have control over the process. And there isn't just some guy on the end of the telephone line writing something that is going to, that they just don't know about. Far from it. Everything I write will go through at least one set of approval with them. They'll look at a first draft, they'll make changes. But even before I write the first draft, we're going to agree on the theme, the topic, the supporting points. So they're going to have a very, very good idea of what's going to be in the article to start with. And then when they see the article, or if you see the press release, they're going to be very familiar with it and say, okay, that's exactly what I said, or hey, Dan misinterpreted a little bit there, or whatever. Hey, I want to use this word instead of that word. That's perfectly fine. We want to make them look good. And if they're not so swift on the phone, but they want to sleep on it for a couple of days and look it over and become more comfortable with it, show it to their spouse, show it to someone else in their office, that's fine too. We want them to look good, and we're going to do everything we can to make them look good. So I think you'll find the process is very user-friendly. They really don't have to lift a finger to do anything. I'm going to do all the heavy lifting for them, and they have final approval process. We will not send it out to the media until they're 100% happy with this. I've done really thousands of these press releases over the last 15 years or so, and most people sign off right away. There might be one person out of 100 who wants a rewrite or who it just didn't flow properly. But those are the exceptions. I think you're going to find your clients are going to find me very easy to work with, and I'm going to find them very easy to work with because we're going to make them look good. So life is good that way. So the process will be very, very simple. You would sign them up. We would work on agree on time where we can talk to each other. I would interview them, find out what's new, interesting, or different. And of course, I'd explain the process to them so they know exactly what to expect, and explain the timing to them and all that good stuff. And then they would see the draft of the press release and approve it. And then we'd send it out within 24, 48 hours. We would have the results for them. We would send them a report that has a listing of all the media websites that print the press release. And again, we guarantee at least 100. Just between you and me, it's going to be a lot closer to 200. So when we would rather under-promise and over-deliver. So you tell your clients 100, we show them a report that has 197 or 225 media outlets in there. They're just going to be delighted because we're going to almost double or more than double what they were expecting. So they're going to be very, very happy with the results.
That's great. Yeah, no, we're always big fans around here of under-promising and over-delivering. That always goes a long way with customers. You know, it's one thing to say you're going to get something and they don't get it all the way. So it's always a safe bet to do it that way. Hey, I'm just curious, would you mind going in, so we have 3 plans, and I have that up on my screen. So we have the bronze, the silver, which is your most popular, and then the gold level. Would you mind just maybe spending just a couple of minutes and just kind of outlining or highlighting the difference between those 3?
Okay, great. I've been talking as if, for the gold plan, frankly, this is the all I do everything for you plan. And so this is where, you know, your clients don't have the slightest idea of what a press release is. They don't have the slightest idea of how to write it. They don't know what the news story is. They don't know the angle. They just know somewhere in the back of their marketing class a million years ago that they're supposed to do press releases. They never got off the boat to figure out how to do it, and now you're coming up to them saying, hey, I got this great deal. You can do press releases. And they're saying, yeah, I sort of remember about those press releases. We were supposed to do those, but, you know, we never got around to it. We don't know how to do it, whatever. That's the plan for them. So if they don't have a slightest idea about what to do, how to do it, then that would be our top of the line plan. Now, we do have other clients who have, you know, advertising departments or marketing departments, and they just don't do publicity. So they might have some really good material, but it doesn't follow the right format for a press release. They don't know how to turn it into a press release. And for that, we will take their material and we will turn it into a press release for them. And frankly, this is really easy for us to do because they know what they want to say. They just don't know how to say it in a way that reporters or search engines can appreciate it. So they might be introducing a new product, so they have a sales sheet on a product, and it's in trade publications and it's in manufacturers' books and such like that, but it's not in a way that real people can understand it. So I'll interview them and ask any follow-up questions I need to turn that into something that consumers can understand or a B2B audience could understand. And also I'll do some keyword research. I do that in the Gold program as well, because we want to make sure that when someone goes to Google and looks for this information, they can find it. So I will look for the right keywords that make sense, because you won't believe this, but job search and job seek and look for a job, they all sound the same, right? And I have a client who runs a resume writing service. In fact, I'm about to send a press release out for her tomorrow, so that's why it's top of mind. And we're doing some keyword research here, and resume writing tips is searched for much more frequently than, say, resume writing ideas. Now, you think tips and ideas are the same. I would think they were the same, but Google tells me differently, that a lot more people are looking for tips than for ideas. So I'll make sure that we have the word tips into the press release so that people can find it more easily. So that's part of all the packages as well, the gold package and the silver package. So again, the gold, I do everything for you, and the silver package, I look at your materials, and you know what, or your client knows what they want to promote, and they're giving me the base material. It might be on their website, it might be on a sales sheet, doesn't matter. I'm happy to look at anything they have, and I'll write the press release for them. And on the third level, this is the bottom of the line, which is still a very good package. This is where they do have a PR department, or their sister-in-law is a PR person, or their kid is a junior and majoring in journalism in college, and they wrote a press release, and that's perfectly fine. They can write the press release. I'll be happy to look it over, and then we can send it out to the media. And you might be saying, well, where's Dan's value add in that case? Well, we buy our press releases in bulk from a company called PR Newswire. And PR Newswire is the largest and best distributor of press releases in the country. They're the most respected press release distributor. They've been doing it for well more than 100 years, well before the age of the Internet. So every journalist in America knows about PR Newswire. They are the most trusted brand for doing this, for sending out press releases. But if you went to them, they would charge you more than our top price just to send out a press release. And the economics, I won't bore you with the economics, but you're getting a great deal. Let's put it that way. I am buying in bulk for them, so I'm getting at least 50% off right off the bat, and you're saving that money because I'm buying in bulk. And then they have a lot of add-on features, like we can send it to different vertical markets, like the agriculture industry or the farming industry or the entertainment industry or the legal profession or whatever. PR Newswire, we're charging extra for each of those vertical markets or those trade publications. They're included in my plan just because I have a better plan. Also, some of you are very concerned about the cities, the geographic area where your clients are located, because they're local people. They're not national organizations. They want to make sure that everyone, say Cincinnati, sees their press release. So we actually have access to those city wires or distribution services as well. That's, again, part of our base package. Again, the gold, silver, or bronze package, they all include 2 vertical markets. That's, again, the vertical market could be aviation, it could be agriculture, it could be police, law enforcement, and a city market. Each of those would cost extra if you went to PR Newswire. So we are saving you a tremendous amount of money, literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on each press release. So if your client said, well, I can go to PR Newswire myself. Well, sure they could, but first they'd have to pay about $150 to become a member of PR Newswire. So that's sort of like, the cover charge for getting into a nightclub, $150 just to be able to send your press release. And then they'd be paying twice as much for a press release. And also, I almost forgot, we give you 800 words to tell your story. PR Newswire gives you 400 words to tell your story. If you want more than 400 words, then you have to pay additional charges. So we're giving you twice as many words as PR Newswire would give you off the bat as well. So this is, it's important for all 3 of our service offerings, but especially so for the bronze package, where, again, this is where your sister-in-law writes the press release for you because she's a PR whiz, and we can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on distribution through PR Newswire because of our buying relationship with them.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you going over those.
Okay.
Yeah, please ask a question, yeah.
You might have a question. This is Larice Webb.
Hey, Larice.
Just if I was to go to a business that had no idea about press releases or whatnot, what would you say to them to get their interest and tell them how it would most definitely benefit them? I just got on the call not too long ago due to work, so I don't want the question to sound remedial or anything.
Sure, that's okay. I addressed that at the very beginning of the call, and I know a lot of people have come on the call in the last few minutes or so they missed that. So I'm glad you asked that, so I can go over it briefly. And again, all these calls are recorded, so you can listen to the top and hear it all again. Okay, there are a number of benefits for using press releases. They all involve in making your clients better known, more trust, more visibility, more credibility. So when their prospects go to them and they say, hey, I can hire you to be my roofer. I can talk to 5 other roofing companies. Why should I hire your roofing company? You can say, well, our roofing company was written about in all these media places. Look at all these logos from all these media sites. The other companies don't have this. We must be credible because we have all these media logos on our website. That goes a long way in helping people convince and make the sale. It also helps to show that your company or your client's company is very credible and is going to be in business for a long time. That is a question that a lot of consumers have with a lot of companies in many, many, many different industries. Plus, as I said before, it helps with search engine marketing because a lot of the days, no one looks at Yellow Pages. They all go online. They look for, a roofing company. They look for a CPA or they look for a dentist or whatever. And they're going to type in certain things like a dentist in, Chicago on the north side who specializes in kids who have autism. And if you have a press release that has all of those words, they're going to be found. So that's a way of standing out in the search engines, which is becoming probably the number one way that anyone finds anything these days. And the other way that press releases can help is when someone is actually looking to check out your client's companies, because you go to someone's website and they say, our company is great. We have wonderful testimonials. Well, we all know that. No one's going to say they have any faults. But if they also type in your company's name, and they see press releases about your company, and they see that it was printed in credible media websites, then they're going to say, oh, okay, it's not just Joe saying he's a great company, it's all these media sites saying he's a great company as well. So that's cool. The other thing, the fourth thing, and then I'll turn the phone call back to you guys, is that you can print out these press releases that appear on these media websites. So you have those logos and use those in your sales kits. So when you're visiting someone's house or your roofing company or whatever, or someone's coming to visit your dentist's office, you have a framed picture of this printout of the media website and their logo and your press release. It's very credible. So people are more likely to buy from you at that point because they have an outside authority saying that you are credible. So those are 4 reasons for benefits for using press releases. I hope that answers your question, and I'm happy to answer more questions.
It did. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Larry. Great question. I do actually just want to call on a couple of folks. Keith, are you still with us? I know he was on here.
Yeah, I'm out here.
Hey, I just wanted to say I know that you're working with a lot of our advisors and a lot of folks that are on this call right now and helping them with some marketing. And is there anything that you can speak to about a press release and the value and your opinion on a press release as well?
I'll just reiterate that, the perception is huge, and the comments he was just sharing a minute ago about having that difference of why you stand out, why you're so powerful. I always like to use this example just to give a sense for people. Take any product, I don't care what the product is. If you could say that Oprah Winfrey endorses this, it's on her show, I think everyone pretty much knows that product's going to be a hit, right? So that power of association is so huge. And so when you have these press releases, and, granted, it may be Oprah Winfrey, it's very, very hard to get that, but it doesn't matter. It's about the culmination of all these different things that add that type of credibility, and that's what's being described here. So for anyone who hasn't been able to yet make the connection that having this awareness in the marketplace, and we do that all the time on your landing pages. We make sure that all of your credibility, these things are prominent so that you can use them to help move somebody to have confidence in you and build that type of trust as close as you could of having Oprah Winfrey endorse your product. So I would call this a step towards having Oprah Winfrey endorse your product. So.
Thanks, Keith. I just wanted you to talk for a minute, because we've been, over the last, couple months, 2 or 3 months or so, we've been having a lot of these calls, and we've been having different vendors and different products and different services. And if you guys haven't noticed by now, we're really trying to drive a certain direction. And if you again notice all the different products and the different services and the way that we've been trying to strategically set these calls up to talk about the online review system, and so tell us, and the directory listings, and search engine optimization, and social media, and just all of these things, because they tie together like Dan just said a few minutes ago, and we've talked about a lot, is today, I mean, everything's online. Everything is the internet. It's a search engine. If you can't be found online in a search engine, you're in bad shape as a business these days. So all of these things that we've been talking to you guys about over the weeks and the months, they all play so well together. And I've been talking with Dan for a couple of weeks trying to set this up, because I just figured that this was a really good time to talk to everybody about press releases so that we can go again and then talk to our clients that we've been working with, clients that we are expecting to go work with. Because if you're talking to them about doing a package or doing a marketing campaign or doing their online listings, press releases ties into all of that, and all of these other services tie into press release, and they'll all accommodate and work really well together. So, what we have in front of us is incredible. I mean, this press release is so huge for businesses, and I think a lot of us kind of overthink that, and I'm sure a lot of business owners do too. They forget about it, or somebody, when they first started out in business, talked to them about doing a press release, somebody in their marketing department, they just forget about it. So this is a really great time just to kind of come back to clients and say, hey, have you ever had a press release, or have you had one recently? Because I think what Dan was also mentioning, and I don't know if everybody picked up on that, but I certainly did, is he works with clients several times over. I don't believe that he necessarily works with the client just one time, because businesses change. Products change, services change. So if there's anything new about a business and they've already had a press release, but they're coming out with a hot new product or something that they want the public to be aware of, they can have multiple press releases. And Dan, this is, I guess, kind of a question for you now, but would it make sense to put out multiple releases about different products or different services within a business, but the same company? Have you ever done that, where you've had a couple done all at the same time, and how has that worked out?
Oh yeah, some of our long-term clients, they're doing press releases every other week. My drone company does about 2 or 3 a month. My kickboxing franchise company, whenever they have a new franchise, we do a profile about them. I have another client who does marketing services for financial planners, and he writes personality profiles for his new clients. So it really is an ongoing thing for, they see the long-term value in having multiple press releases. Now, I don't think anyone on the call needs to have a press release every single week. That might be overkill. In fact, if you don't have anything to say, then it's almost looked at as a negative. But if you're, say, Microsoft, then you have a press release every single day because you have so many new products. But to play the search engine optimization game, I think it's realistic to ask your clients to plan for a press release every quarter, because Google changes their algorithms and their formulas for determining how they're going to rate companies. So one of the things is that they do like to see these media press releases, and they like to see them printed on media websites, and that gives Google a lot of credibility in your company. But after about 90 days or so, those press releases disappear. Those media websites just take those press releases down. So every 90 days, you probably want to have another set of press releases going up there to replace the ones that were taken down. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use the logos. You certainly can. The logos, the reprints that you print out on day one, you can use those 10 years from now. And everyone's fine with it because it happened. It's true. It appeared. You're not deceiving anyone. But for anyone currently looking on Google, 6 months after your press release came out, well, it may not be there anymore. So, for that reason, you might want to have a regular schedule of press releases. And again, once a quarter, I think, is a good target for many companies.
Thank you, Dan. I just wanted you to talk a little bit about that, because I assume there's some level of consistency that probably should be had when we're talking about a press release, just to stay relevant. Not necessarily that tremendous things are changing in the business, but like you said, it's a great point. Some of they on some media outlets, they may not be there any longer, so it's always good to kind of re-up, and the biggest thing is obviously for the search engine, like you're saying, Google's always looking at analytics and re-indexing and doing all those things. So if you're hitting the internet or those search engines with fresh content about every 90 days. That's just going to keep, your name or the likelihood that when somebody's searching for your product or your service in an area, that you're more likely to come up. I want to open up again for some questions. We did have a couple. Larice, I know you asked a great question. Are there any other questions out there currently? Or any clients that any of you guys have in mind that maybe you're brainstorming, I want to go talk to this client, and suggestions from Dan? I'm sure he'd be more than willing to give some suggestions if any of you guys have clients in mind.
I love brainstorming. So just tell me the names or the kinds of clients you have, and I can give you some ideas for press releases so you can go in there stocked with some ideas of, like, going to the roofing company and say, like, hey, have you thought about a press release? Say, no, what's that? And you tell them what it's like. Well, what would I have for a press release? Well, roofing. Well, when's the best time of year to do roofing? Is it the summer? Is it the spring? Well, where are you located? If you're in Arizona, this could be a great time to have your roof done. If you're in Minnesota, maybe not so. Or what are the latest trends in roofing materials? Other things like that. If you're thinking about selling your home, what will putting a new roof on your home do to the new market value of your home? Will you get your money back? Will you get more than your money back? Do homeowners expect to see a new roof, or a roof within how many years old is too old, and consider, like, oh, I would never buy a house with a 17-year-old roof. I have to replace it in 8 years. I'd rather buy another, millions of questions like that. So, what kinds of clients are you dealing with? And I'll give you a couple of story ideas that, would be interesting. Because remember, I was a daily newspaper reporter and a business newspaper editor at a daily newspaper, so I know what goes into those publications and what those editors look for. That's part of the value I bring as a PR person. I've been on both sides of the fence here. I know what newspapers are looking for, so...
Well, I think we might have just lost Dan, so hopefully he'll
no,
call
I'm here.
back. Oh, you are? Okay, that was...
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Sound like we lost you for a second. My mistake.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting this whole big thing roofing companies and whatever, and story ideas for roofing companies. But remember, I was a PR person as well as a daily newspaper reporter and business newspaper editor, so I know exactly what newspapers are looking for. So I can give your associates ideas on to take to their clients and say, hey, here are some ideas that we can use for a press release. So if you guys want to tell me what kind of businesses you're in or your clients are in, I can give you some ideas on story ideas that would probably work with newspapers.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Is there anybody out there that has a customer in mind, or any questions that you guys would like to ask Dan at this time? It's a new year. We don't have to be shy.
Yeah. Well, that's the other great thing about a new year. New marketing budgets open up in new years. People who have small businesses say, let's start the year off right. December's kind of a very, very slow month, so they have more money. Their budgets start opening up again in January. They have more money to spend on marketing and advertising and publicity. So this is the right time to approach them with your ideas and opportunities. And again, we can save your clients tons of money. So if they were thinking about press releases and you didn't let them know that you could make them this offer and this kind of service, you're really doing them a disservice, because if they went to other companies, they'd be paying 2 or 3 times as much as the price of what you can offer for them. So you're really helping them out and saving them a tremendous amount of money by letting them know that you can now offer press release services to your clients.
This is Larice Webb again. I'm located in Montgomery, Alabama. It's one well-known casino. It's on Wind Creek Casino and Resort, and then it's another one. It's called Victory Land. It's more well-known for being a dog track, but now they're competing with Wind Creek. So right now they're running an ad on the radio saying, hey, we're going to give $25 free play if you come in and just join our Players Club, like a loyalty program, that's all. To, incentivize people to come in with the $25 free play, as well as random drawings for more money, like hourly. So how would you approach them?
Okay, well, I'm really glad you brought that up now instead of later, because there are, unfortunately, a group of businesses that PR Newswire will not let us work with, and gaming is one of them. Gaming,
Okay.
alcohol, tobacco, firearms, they just don't want to touch it. So
Okay.
medical claims also are another area that we just cannot get involved in. So if you have a client who has a new recipe or formula that's going to cure arthritis or diabetes, we can't touch it. So I apologize, but those are, we just can't do that. I mean, pornography also are other things that we just can't run press releases about. So any kind of professional service is good. Any kind of product is good. So doctors, lawyers, dry cleaners, roofers, realtors, bankers, there are a lot of businesses we can work with, and only a handful of ones that we can't. And unfortunately, gaming is one of those. So I apologize.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Well, we are about 15 minutes from the hour here, from the top of the hour. So if there are any other questions, you guys can just go ahead and interrupt me, butt in. But what I do want to show everybody right now is from my screen, I'm in the marketplace underneath PR leads, guaranteed press releases. And I just want to go through this really quick so everybody knows where to locate and how to get your customer over to order a press release or to order a press release for one of your customers. So right now I'm on the description tab, a really great video that Dan put together for us, and it actually goes over all of those, the different programs, the bronze, silver, and gold. So you guys can take a moment and watch that video as well, maybe after the call, or at your own pace, at your own time. But if you go, there's a few different ways to get here. So if you go to plans, you'll see this goes over it, and then directly to the right of plans is the forms tab. And there's a little link here. It says bronze package, please click here, silver here, gold package here. But then also we have it says visit special offer site, and I clicked on that a little while ago, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on that again so you guys can see where it takes us. This is a beautiful co-branded site that Dan and his company put together for us. And again, this another good video here, the value of a press release. And throughout this page, there are multiple areas where it says Agora Advantage Special Offer. Click here for members-only pricing. And like I said, if you scroll down, there's more information in several areas where you can click. So I'm going to click onto one of them. This shows us that there's bronze for $359, silver for $8.99, gold for $17.99, and we have a little bit, about 10% roughly for the bronze and silver, and then the gold is actually a little bit more than 10% off. So Dan already has incredible pricing, I think, as it is, and we did get a little bit better because of our membership. So he was very kind to go ahead and get that at a little bit better price for us. So I'm just going to click on the silver since that is the most popular, and this will take us over to a page where, again, there is a little video here that I think will be useful for the client. And there's a couple of extra options, too, if they want to add some pictures, 1 pictures, 2 pictures, no pictures. So that's where they would come to first. Option 1 is if they wanted to add a picture. Option 2, if they wanted to add a couple of pictures, or option 3, no pictures. But I'm going to go with option 1 and just say, yeah, I do want to add a picture into my press release. And this will basically take it to the checkout page. So it's going to outline, okay, we decided to go with the silver package, $8.99, and then $15 extra for the picture, so $9.14. And then they would just fill out the billing information, put in their card information. There is a how did you hear about us? Obviously, this is our page, so it would be Agora. And then there's a special comment section here if there's anything special that they want to tell Dan or tell his company. And then they just submit order. It's pretty simple. So Dan's made this very, very easy for all of us to be able to go in here and pick up any one of these press releases. So that is pretty much how you go through to the marketplace. Again, there's lots of good information in here. You guys can learn more about it. Dan's contact information, his email is in here as well. If I know Dan said he loves doing brainstorming sessions, so I don't want to speak for you, Dan, but if any of our advisors have a potential client, would you be open to maybe scheduling a call to do brainstorming with them so they can go approach the client? Would that be okay with you?
Oh, Sure, I'd be happy to do that. My phone number's there. Just send me an email, and I have an online scheduling program, and we can work out a time, and in 15 minutes you'll have all the ammunition you need. Yeah.
Perfect. Great. I was actually thinking about actually adding your electronic calendar into the contact section, so right from the marketplace they can just go ahead and schedule a call with you. I think that would be pretty helpful to add in.